guys, it's Sandra from the Peas of Happiness coming at you on this super cool International Women's Day. I hope that everybody is having an awesome day. I am, as you can see, by myself today. Josh is not with me. I am going to try to do what I call a split pea segment. Get it? Because we're the Peas of Happiness and Josh isn't here. We're split. I would like to talk to you about what I've been thinking and feeling today on this International Women's Day, and what I would hope that a lot of other vegans are kind of thinking about and feeling today, which is the exploitation and the plight of non-human females in the egg and dairy industry. And I'm just going to kind of jump right in. I want to talk about dairy cows. Dairy cows, to me, have one of the absolute most hellish plights of all of the animals in the animal agriculture business. And that is simply because they're still going to be met with the same untimely, same extremely violent end as every other animal in the animal agriculture industry is going to. But on top of that, they're going to be subjected first to a continual cycle of trauma. And that trauma stems from the fact that cows have to be pregnant to produce milk. I'm not stating that very obvious fact to try to insult anybody's intelligence, but we live in a society where, for some reason, when we talk about cows and dairy cows, we use the rhetoric that they give milk, as if they're just like standing on the corner like, hey guys, I got all this milk, I don't have anything to do with it, you want to put some in your coffee? No, that's not at all what happens. It also kind of gives a false impression that they just have milk all the time. Well, that's, again, not the case. Cows are mammals. They're like every other mammal on the planet. They produce milk to nurse their young. So in order to get milk as human beings, we have to forcibly impregnate cows. And how we do that is we hook them up to a restraint called a rape rack, which I'm not making that up. That is an industry term that you can Google right now and see pictures of. So she's put on a rape rack, and she is going to be forcibly inseminated by a human being. Now, I'm going to call that what it is. It is interspecies rape for profit. We are sticking our hands up the anuses and vaginas of cows. Oh, you can see that Fritz wants to join us now. We are sticking our hands up the vaginas and anuses of cows in order to impregnate them so that we can sell her milk for profit. So that is interspecies rape for profit. Now, once her calf is born, that calf is going to be taken away. If that calf is, and it's going to be taken away for a very simple reason. Some people may not understand why they take the calf away. They take the calf away because if the calf is drinking milk, then they can't sell the milk to human beings. It's that simple. It's all about economics. So they are going to make sure that calf is separated from its mother as soon as possible. Dairy cows can cry for weeks for their babies, and often until they lose their voices, till there's just simply, nothing left coming out. And so on top of that drama, what's going to happen to the calf is just as horrible. If it's a male, he's going to be sold into the veal industry. He has no place in the dairy industry because he's not a female that they can exploit. So he's sold in auction, and he's going to spend the next 2 to 3 weeks in a crate where he can't lay down or turn around, and then he'll be slaughtered within 2 to 3 weeks of his birth. If it's a female calf, she's going into the same servitude as her mother, which is essentially being impregnated over and over again, standing and being hooked up to machines to be milked, machines that very commonly cause injury and irritation. These injuries have to be treated with antibiotics, which is why cows are pumped full of antibiotics to make sure that these wounds aren't festering and getting infected. Then she's going to have hormones injected into her to make sure she's producing absolutely the most amount of milk that she can produce. And within 4 to 5 years, a dairy cow is considered spent. All of that abuse takes so much toll on her body that she just can't do it anymore. And she's sent to slaughter at 4 or 5 years old. A cow can naturally live about 25 years. So that's less than a quarter of their natural lifespan, which is insane. And that is where a huge portion of the hamburger meat in our country comes from. It's spent dairy cows. So that is a cycle of just immense suffering and immense exploitation as far as the females are concerned. And then, of course, there are laying hens, which is the other industry that really, really exploits specifically females. The thing that people have to understand about eggs, and again, I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence here, this is simply a rhetoric thing. We know that chickens give eggs, or that chickens produce eggs frequently. They do that because it's part of their menstrual cycle, okay? So what happens is the anatomy of a chicken, okay, they only have one hole, and that hole is where they poop and pee, and I mean everything. Everything happens out of that hole. They lay eggs, they defecate, and they urinate. And that hole is called a cloac, which is a derivative of a Latin word which means sewer, which should kind of tell you already that may not be something you want to eat. But because it's part of her menstrual cycle, they're only interested in females. And she is going to spend her entire life in a small, or well, sometimes quite a large shed, but a shed nonetheless. She's going to be in a small cage. If she's cage-free, she'll be in the same small shed, but she's going to be thrown in with the same number of chickens, which is typically hundreds or thousands, depending on how big these sheds are. They're very dusty, ammonia-filled environments. They are not healthy by any means. And because of the toll that this takes on her body, she's going to spend 1 to 3 years as a laying hen, and then she's going to be slaughtered as well. And if she was living a natural life, she could easily live for 5 to 8 years. So again, a very, very early death for these females that once they can no longer produce what is not meant for us anyways, are slaughtered for it. And it breaks my heart when I see my feminist friends who seem to not understand the value in abstaining from eggs and dairy. And that is simply because it's a feminist stance to say that we are not going to exploit females at all. We are not going to contribute to an industry that sees females as machines. And unfortunately, that is exactly what the dairy industry and the egg industry are doing. So I would urge you on this very awesome of International Women's Day to please consider your food choices and what those mean. Consider if they are examples of your ethics, or if they are examples of your ego and convenience. And of course, to consider that these beings that can cry for their children for weeks, that these beings that can show obvious fear and obvious pain and exhaustion and happiness and joy and love, that these beings are worth your protection. And I hope that this short video, is awkward and strange as it might be, I hope that this video gives you a little bit of perspective to think about the plight of females, not just human females, but across all species. So have a super awesome day. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, please like it and share it. Please go to the Peas of Happiness YouTube and subscribe. You can also go to our Facebook page as well and like us there and get all kinds of cool content. So I hope that you guys are having an awesome day. I'm going to totally stop filming this video now because I'm just getting more awkward, I think, as this goes. But much love. Peace, positivity, plant-powered, always. The Peas of Happiness coming at you 24/7. No, I'm just kidding. We don't come 24/7 because we sleep. But we do have a lot of peace and positivity to offer you. So stay awesome, stay positive, and we'll see you later. Bye. Anyways.